Hey guys! So I know was a little bit off the grid, I guess, for the past 3 days. If you follow me on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever, then you know that at least since yesterday I've been posting my Inktobers. But over the weekend I did, or at least Sunday, I kind of took a bit of a break. Saturday night, I went over to my boyfriend's place and we were binge watching Man in the High Castle. And then Sunday, I was catching up on the last of my work. So I was prioritizing that and didn't end up doing my Inktober on Sunday. But not to worry, on Monday, I just did 2 in one day, which I do not recommend. But it still got done. So this is day 14's Inktober for Sunday. The prompt for this one was clock. So our characters, or rather the girl, is climbing up the clock tower with the chicken in her hoodie. So for this one, I kind of sort of carried on that fun sort of etchy inking style from the previous one that I had for the castle. Put in a really light amount of shading, and then for the sky, I went like really nuts. So here I'm just kind of adding a little bit more definition, trying to punch that clock tower more in the foreground than the trees and such. Adding a little bit of shading, but not too much, a little bit of texture, putting some texture in the trees. And I didn't want these particular elements to be super busy because I knew the sky was going to end up looking really busy. So here, as you can see, I start cross-hatching the shit out of the sky. So I start going in with a very thin line width and just hacking away at the cross-hatching. And this definitely took the longest with this entire process. But it was very fun. And you know, the whole reason why I did it was I had seen this kind of technique used and I wanted to try it out, and sort of more this kind of like helter-skelter with a cross-hatching just as like another way of filling in a large space without going in with a really thick line. So that was kind of the effect that I wanted to give, and I just travel across trying to keep everything more or less consistent but still scattered with the whole sky and stuff. So that is literally what I end up doing for almost the entire remainder of this particular piece. So strap in for, I guess, this invasion of crosshatching. But yeah, how are you guys doing? It's like I said, it's been a couple days since I last really posted a video or talked to you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're still going on with Inktober. By the time I post this, I think it'll be the 16th or the 17th. And that means we're over halfway officially with this Inktober challenge. So if you've made it this far, then congratulations. We're doing it. 50%, 53% maybe. But yeah, definitely it's been getting harder and harder to, I guess, stay motivated with these drawings. I know for myself, I tend to drop off around the 2 or 3 week mark. The first week I usually do really well, and then after that it's diminishing returns. So really hoping to push through and challenge myself and just go all the way this month. I think really planning for the weekend will be really crucial, because during the weekday I think I'll have enough time to catch up, but then when that weekend hits and if I want to, you know, spend time either relaxing or with my boyfriend or whatnot, I won't be at my apartment, so I have to kind of plan for that. So I guess just keeping that in mind for the next 2 weeks for October. Just trying to stay ahead of the curve and anticipating those possible delays. So yeah, almost done with this cross-hatching. My goodness. It does give, I feel like this one out of all of them gives the most Halloween spooky vibe, which I like. I really like how that moon came off, and I think the cross hatching helps too. So here I finished with the sky, finally. I liked how it looked. It kind of gave that darker feel while still having some texture and being artsy looking, but not, you know, completely black. And then we're moving right along to the day 15 one. So I'll have all the finished pieces at the end of the video, but yeah. So for 15, this prompt was weak, like physically weak, which is kind of similar to exhausted, or at least the way that I kind of went with it. So looking at it now, maybe I could have added a little more to show weak versus just tired. But basically, you know, she's just climbed this however many foot wall. She's in a weaker state. She's tired. She's, you know, can barely stand up. Her chicken friend is comforting her because it did nothing except sit in her hood and probably slowly strangle her. But anyways, so here she's in the clock tower. Tried to make it kind of round, have this cool, you know, it's the other side of the clock, so everything's reversed. And then we have this spooky, ooh, what is this monster lurking in the corner, which they don't see yet. So certainly the hardest part of this particular drawing was I was kind of over the hatching since I had spent the previous hour or so doing that. And I just wanted to kind of show that the room they're in was round and get some sort of lighting in there. Like lighting, oh, it is really not my strong suit. And there's this assignment I need to do that is all about lighting for this online class that I started like forever ago. And I still haven't gotten around to it. And, you know, I really should because I think it would have really helped me with these pieces, but I keep procrastinating on it. But eventually I will do it and finish it and finally know what the hell to do with, you know, my lighting and all that. But until now, I'm just guessing and going by what seems right, which probably isn't right. And coloring in this weird monster. Again, at this point, my goal is I just want the room to look round. And some indication of lighting. So here I actually tried to think, like, where would the light source come in? What would be in shadow? And try not to be too scared about, you know, shading in the face and all that. So I imagined that some moonlight would be coming in from the clock face, and that would be how the lighting, I guess, would fall about. That the stuff not facing it would be darker, and the stuff facing the clock would be lighter. So that's very rudimentary lighting that I decided to put in place. And we're about to head over to, here we go, today's, aka day 16. And the prompt for this was angular, which is why I went with the particular spiky design for this weird monster. I think in my notes I just wrote, a weird monster shows up, it's angular. Probably my laziest prompt idea, but I honestly had no idea how else to fit it in with the story that I was going with. So at first I kind of freehanded everything, and then I decided to go back in whenever I decided to stop taking a break. And, well, first I'm drawing in this room. It's coming into the clock room. All that good stuff, kind of punching in that. Oh, okay. And then here I decided to use some fun Photoshop tools and use the shift and just going back and forth to make sure all my lines are super straight. And maybe this was unnecessary and maybe it took longer than it needed to, but I just wanted that really spiky look. Thinking back, I probably should have used a better brush type because a lot of my ends ended up looking kind of rounded, which was not the intention, but I don't know. I was happy with it. I thought it looked spikier. I don't know if it actually did anything or not, but that's what I decided to do. Yeah, I didn't want there to be any curves or anything. And then what I ended up doing for almost the majority of this particular drawing was coloring the monster in. So while we wait for my past self to catch up and actually start coloring things in, I released my webcomic today for this week, and it was inspired by yesterday. So I like to listen to the Jenna Julian podcast sometimes, and yesterday their prompt was they were reading these really scary stories about skinwalkers, which are allegedly scary true stories. And I don't know why, like, I am fine with reading, like, creepypasta usually because I know it's usually fake, and I'm pretty good with reading horror because I know that it's fake. But I can't do, like, true horror, and I don't mean, like, true crime, but, like, quote-unquote true supernatural stories. So I made it to about 7 minutes into their podcast before I severely chickened out and just had to stop listening to it. And I just felt so creeped out in my apartment by myself with a pet that is useless about warning me when weird things are happening. Like, that's the nice thing about having a dog or even a cat. Like, they will let you know when there is something wrong going on. And a hamster is utterly useless at that. All it does is run on its wheel and try to escape its cage. But, yeah, so I was pretty freaked out and needed to talk to my friend to rationally, I guess, approach those particular things. But, yeah, it put me in a kind of scared mood. But the plus side was, I thought, you know what, this is good material for my webcomic, and it's 1 in the morning, and I needed to draw it, so here we go. So that was the inspiration for that particular webcomic. There was a series of stories on Our No Sleep, which was like, I think the premise is that someone was a search and rescue person for this national park or whatever, and we're telling all these like creepy stories. And the whole point, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't remember. It starts with a P, I think. But the whole point of Our No Sleep is you're supposed to treat all the stories as true, even if they might obviously not be. But they're supposed to be plausible enough that they could be true. So I was reading those, and it was fine. But I did have to stop because it was 14 parts, and even though they were very interesting, I needed to get my things done. But maybe tonight I'll be reading it. So in that nice Halloween spirit. Also, I went to the dollar store the other day, and by the other day I mean yesterday. Oh my goodness. Best place to go if you want some really cheap holiday decorations, like not even just like Halloween. They've already got stuff for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I bought myself this cute spiderweb looking fruit bowl for, you guessed it, $1. And yeah, it's holding my apples right now. And speaking of apples, I really want to start like cooking some stuff with apples, like baking something with apples. I've made an apple crumble before, but maybe I'll do like a apple pie or something. I don't know, something fall-ish. I want to get into that festive spirit. But yeah, this piece is almost done. You can see I used the cross-hatching again for the background. And we're going to look at all these pieces one by one. So here's the first one. I rather like how this came out. I think it has that cool, whimsical Halloween look, especially with that crosshatch sky. And for this one, this was just kind of okay. I'm not the biggest fan of it. You can kind of tell that I was rushed. But from a distance, it looks fine. And then here, again, this has that really creepy look. Kind of second-guessing the white stuff, but overall, you know, it's done. As I always say, it's finished, and finished is better than perfect. So this was a longer video, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for being a little AWOL the past couple of days. If you hear a weird sound, someone upstairs is taking a bath, and you can hear it in the pipes. But yeah, so I will talk to you tomorrow. Keep drawing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!